Hello, this is Matthew Limited and Alexa, set timer for 30 minutes.
20 minutes, starting now.
Alexa, stop timer.
20-minute timer cancelled.
Alexa, set timer for 30 minutes.
30 minutes, starting now.
And guess what? I found my joke books, or at least 3 of them. I think there was a 4th. Wait, no, that was all of them. So, while you are waiting, I could do some comedy if anyone feels bothered. Alright, so get rid of you. What to get. What to get. You're still in the court, so you're done. You're in process. Yeah. I guess containment policy. COVID is like a disease, spreading endlessly and infecting everything it touches. It needs to be isolated and starved. I can press that. Okay. I think I pressed the Alt button by mistake. So yeah, with that. Oh yeah, also Germany went communist. I think I forgot to mention that fact. But anyway, with all of that, I guess I'll let time pass. And first jokes. Oh damn it! Yeah, great. Who cares? Oh mother. God. A note from the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union has dispatched a note calling for a peace conference between the occupying powers in Germany to work out a detailed on the unification of the German state. The Soviets insist that the unified Germany should be neutral, having Potsdam borders among other conditions to terms appear generous, so the neutral includes the guarantee of free elections, and the Allied believes Germany must be detailing our views and call for further discussions within the Soviet use issues, especially with strict neutrality, which it meant this often could also just be a communist policy case. The setup position. Hey! Both sides aren't communist. The conference agrees to a demilitarized neutral Germany. Ongoing peace conferences is on Germany unification agreed on new foreign policy. The military for the United States, although the Soviets wanted Germany the government, they have persuaded compromise. Germany will remain under military neutral restrictions for 15 years. Even after the restrictions are lifted, Germany must agree to be cautious on its foreign policy. Vagueness of the language also sees an advantage for Germany once the restrictions are lifted. Excellent. UN election observers arrive in Germany. This is a feeling of immense excitement as the UN observers begin to setting up in cities across West Germany and East Germany. Both states have national elections to establish unity government before holding peace talks with the occupying powers to decide the final unification of Germany. Soviet and Western military forces in the country expected to remain of the final unification of Germany, Soviet and Western military barracks until the election is held. This continues a peace process initiated by the Soviet Union to resolve the question of Germany. Outstep. A new conservative German government, a newly elected coalition of conservative parties attending the peace conference of the unification of Germany being held with the current occupying powers. The coalition is expected to persuade the restoration of the 1937 borders and secure democratic rights. The Soviet Union had also minimized German military and its neutrality in European as well as global issues. So it begins. So Germany is back to being Christian Democratic under the Christian Democratic Union of Germany, or CDU, or CDUD, CDUD. Yeah, a unified Germany. The Anti-Merger Act, get that. So yeah, that just happened. I haven't gone down for a neutral unified Austria yet, so they could split Austria. Who knows? Anyway. Let time pass. And my first joke began. This time uninterrupted. I told my son he shouldn't listen to the God damn it. Containment policy. The challenge of beginning order and the rise of radical communist movements across Europe and Asia following the 1945. The Soviet Union is blatantly supporting these efforts and offering arms, training, and cash to these organizations to subvert, overthrow, and democratic regimes in territory under Soviet military occupation. They have simply purged non-communist parties and forcibly established communist regimes. To combat this, the United States established an alliance among frontline states facing communists and encouraging collective defense. American military, economic, and political aid will protect these states from overt and covert military threats. The goal is to surround this communist world and contain it for an expansion. Good to know. You're not in any alliance, so like Get Housing Act. The Housing Act will provide funds for slum clearing and urban renewal. Will also give authorization for federal mortgage programs and more funding to research buildings and techniques. Now, before this thing happens, I told my son he shouldn't listen to losers. Now he won't talk to me. That was a joke. Let time pass. What has... Conference agrees to adjust borders. In major breakthrough, participants in the peace conference on the unification of Germany accepted the agreement. The German borders. The Soviet Union sought to maintain territorial divisions agreed in Potsdam, but it could not overcome the pressure of the Allies and Germany on the issue. The Soviets agreed to retain Kaliningrad as its surrounding areas in Germany. This is a major win for the German government and it will be popularly received by the German people. Poland and the Soviet Union have not satisfied with this outcome. The Soviet promised to hand over administration to return to territory back to Germany. The United States supports this effort to push neutral buffers into more Soviet space. A deal at hand. So Königsberg is renamed back to Königsberg. Not first bit. Anyway. Oh yeah, they get Silesia back. But not that part. So you got Niederschleichen, Breslau, and Oberschleichen, Liebes. But it's certainly not Kirsten or Sten. Anyway. What has three letters? German Unification Treaty signed. The world welcomed the news that the occupying powers and the Germany signed a final agreement, Unification of Germany. This agreement will see the period of neutrality and demilitarization along with the guaranteed democratic rights of all German citizens. The Western powers are very satisfied with the results, and many Europeans have agreement of reduce tensions across the continent. The Soviets will be satisfied with the neutrality and establishment of Germany as a buffer state. However, its temporary status may cause problems once it was lifted. Peace at last. But it needs to be given back to Germany. Set owner J. What does it have? J. T debug. I know. Don't know T debug in the first place. That was not what I meant. So T debug, I guess, because I didn't expect J meaning the IMF. So it'd be WGR. Sorry, set owner. WGR T debug. Ready to Conrad Adenauer as requested. Certainly not southern Königsberg area, but you know, hey, one step in the direction. Anyway, time pass. What has three letters and starts with gas? A car. Dentist. Your teeth are stained. Do you smoke or drink coffee? I drink it. Cool succeeds. Very good, very good. Welcome. There you go. Yeah, that's going well. Hello. Partito Reconciliation Democratic Nacional, the National Democratic Reconciliation Party, under Carlos Cancillos Armas. I just need to empower his regime after that. Very good, very good. Let time pass. Hybrid and more. Yeah. For Wallenberg trials, a series of trials held over the mysterious death of the death of Raoul Wallenberg. Wallenberg was a diplomat and architect who played a major role in arranging the rescue of thousands of Hungarian Jews by providing them safe havens and protective passports. Following the liberation of Budapest by Soviet forces, Wallenberg disappeared and many suggest he died in Soviet custody. However, the Hungarian government tried to prove Wallenberg had not been murdered by the Soviets. Instead, the trial argued that he was a group of Budapest Jews and former members of the fascist regime carried out the murder in Wallenberg. All the suspects were convicted during the trial, although many international observers decried the victims of the show trial. Many notes the trial was a convenient way for the communist regime to downplay any Soviet involvement and instead blame fascists and Hungarian Jewish community, both are currently being targeted by the state. Interesting. Anyway, jokes. My uncle was crushed by a piano. The funeral was very low key. The Luperon invasion. In recent weeks, reports from Cuba indicate over 1,000 Cuban and Dominican revolutionaries were undergoing training, exercise, and preparation for invasion of the Dominican Republic. This force, part of the Colombian Legion, is said to be interested in ending the end of Rafael Trujillo and restoration of democracy in the Dominican Republic. Cuban authorities had done nothing to stop the government after the United States oppression on the Cuban government arrested the Caribbean League fighters, ending the plot. Though within days, virtually all the fighters were released from prison. The initial lack of effort and quick release of the prisoners was said to infuriate Trujillo. But why? Anyway, did you hear about the guy who always got angry when he ran out of the bread for breakfast? He was lactose intolerant. Get the crackdown on strikers. The workers of the U.S. Steel are the only other employed steel companies vital to the nation. Civilian economy and military are planning a strike by trying to nationalize the mill they work at. We can attempt to cut off the strike before it begins. Anyway, what is the difference between a camera and a foot? The camera has photos, the foot has 5 toes. Well, okay, good. I'll do this. My girlfriend says I'm way too condescending. That means I speak down to people. The Youngstown's Sheet and Tube Company vs. Sayer. In a landmark decision, Youngstown Sheet vs. Tube Company vs. Sawyers has ruled that the President does not have the authority to nationalize industries and steel faculties. These must be returned to private owners. The Supreme Court declared that without authority conferred on him by Congress, the President is not allowed to seize government control over private property. The current court voted 6-3 in favor of Youngstown Sheet and Tube Company. The facilities are being implanted, handed over to former private owners, but no damage or being paid from the loss of profit. In time, the facilities will be under government control. A disappointing outcome. Anyway. A history degree is useless. There's just no future in it. Why did the cowboy suddenly feel brave after touching a rock? Because he felt a little bolder? No? The steel strike of 1952. Actually, in 1952, a massive strike has been organized by the United Steel Works of America against the major steel makers in the US, but was stopped by Harris Truman, the American steel industry, before stopped as President Harris Truman nationalized the American steel industry before the walkout and gave workers a wage increase. Steel companies who lost control of the facilities are now suing the government, which ironically just happened, so to regain their properties. If the president wins the case, albeit unlikely, then it could have serious implications regarding the authority of the government and ability to nationalize industries. Senator McCarthy has officially denounced the president for permitting Congress to remain in employment. Disappointing. The Social Security Act of 1950. The Social Security Act of 1950 is another amendment to the original Social Security Act of 1935. It extends the act, extends the act's lifespan, increases the benefits for the first time, and introduces the cost of living adjustment program. the 15th Olympiad. I think we had this one. Thank you. And yeah, I think we have this one. Where did I can't believe someone broke into my house and stole all my fruit. I'm peachless. Me, why did you buy a fake hat crap for the bathroom? My wife, do you mean the shampoo? Damn, I good. The election of 1952 Republican nomination. The election of 1952 Republican nomination is taking place after 20 years out of power. Republicans are hoping to retake the presidency. The nomination so far have been Gerald Dwight D. Eisenhower and noted isolation Ohio Senator Robert Taft. While not formal, the race General MacArthur has also delegated pledged support to him. If the nomination is developed, perhaps pull an upset. Only the idea is how it has stuff in it. However, there's actually more options for the Democrats. There's from 1952, there's former Governor Adlai Stevenson II, Esther Kefauver, U.S. Senator for the Matthew Senate. There's also rumors that President Trudeau is running for re-election last minute to seize the nomination. There's Errol Harrison, Richard Russell, Al Truman. I'd say with all the success going on, Truman should get the nomination. Anyway, mostly because I'm very close to finishing this tree, so I'm going to do that. Tax relief for the poor. There are unfortunate many poor people in the United States. By giving them tax breaks, not only it gains them and their families some breathing room, and also gives them more money to put back into the economy. Our local auditor will have passed away. He was somewhere around 30, 35, 40. So that failed. I forgot that took way too long, and I'm not going to go back and change that. Sorry. Also, this. You haven't even done Hussein Al Saim yet. What the? Damn. Okay. You haven't even tried doing that yet. There was a new cryptocurrency called Disable. It's a sound investment. Wait, no. There was a new cryptocurrency called Decibel. It was a sound investment. Proposed national healthcare system. In many rural, low-income areas, there are no hospitals or even doctors. In addition, public health service is inadequate to save little funding. The situation is improved by creating a national healthcare system. I was a friend who really hates living in the center of the United States of America. She says she is constantly in the state of Missouri. Indian annexation of the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. During the World War II, the Andaman and Nicobar Islands were under occupation of the Free Indian Army and the Japanese patrons. These invasion as a part of Free India, and after the war surrendered the British Indian Army forces, as the independence of India declared an intention to see all Indians liberated from colonialism and given the choice to join the Indian Union. However, during the period, the English stated that it intended to move all Anglo-Indian and Anglo-Burmese to the island to give them independence. However, this plan proved impossible to implement, but raised concerns amongst the Indian leadership to the end any dispute of these status. These islands, the Indian government asked its annexation of Nicobar Islands to the Indian Union and promised to provide the islands with education and development. Unsurprising, the Chinification or Sinification campaign in the Republic of China. The Republic of China launched an intensification of its Sinification campaign. The government has long sought to foster national unity and spreading Chinese culture and language across all communities, like modern China in our timeline. Probably one official said that most all people will become Chinese or leave the country, and the day of barbarians was over. The campaign is facing resistance, especially with frontier provinces in China who are often not ethnically Chinese or follow any cultural or religious traditions. The government does not appear to overly concerned on non-Chinese backlash. Concerning. Indeed. Huh. So, that guy died, that's probably why. You haven't done that. Although you have gone down that tree. So, anyway, 3 minutes-ish. Let time pass, shall it? Did you hear about the giant diarrhea? What? It was all over town. It's a giant. Interesting. Before the Curry regime in currency and Beirut, multiple regime officials attested an intro with the Curry regime collapse itself. President Bashir al-Curry of Lebanon traced for strong national views and anti-French sentiment in the 1940s, famous for imposing legislation that sought to equalize both Christian and Muslim minorities and cultural rights. Curry regime was one of the great controversies. Initially, short-term intelligence reports by the CIA suggesting the political opposition partially spurred Egypt sought renewal as the overthrow of the presidential regime. Many dissidents and the opposed Curry regime have appealed to both French and U.S. assistance with the possible overthrow of the president, whether it be political or military means. The Pentagon officials have yet to respond to any official status request. Interesting. I got a pro-American guy at least. Is there a Lebanon? Here. It has not officially taken over. Anyway. Why do wood carving take so long? Because they have to be done whittle by whittle. I remember these funny. Expand funding for electrification programs. The modern state-day age of electricity is absolutely essential for everyone, everywhere. We are in the process of spreading the power through the country, but we need more funds to do so effectively and efficiently. indeed. My coworker Cletus needed to take some time off, so they hired a guy called Kelvin to cover for him. He's the new temp. Good news. Nothing there. Alexa, stop. So with that, I call this video due. Thank you for listening to my jokes. One last one for the road. What do you call someone who is good at darts? Amy. What do you call someone who's really good at darts? Amy. Dad jokes are not particularly good, but I found them funny. So yeah. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you next time. Hope you did. This is Matt signing off. Good day. Goodbye. Goodbye.